Your baby can't talk. They can't tell you when something's wrong. But here's what most parents never find out. Your baby is registering everything you do, every glance, every tone, every time you step away, and the things you'd never think twice about, the completely ordinary everyday things, are quietly shaping who your child will become. I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about obvious neglect. I'm talking about 10 totally normal things that millions of loving, attentive parents do every single day. Things that actually hurt their baby's feelings in ways their baby has no words for. And the consequences aren't just emotional, they're neurological. They're developmental, and in some cases, they last a lifetime. Stay with me, because number 4 is something almost every parent does in the first year, and the research behind it will genuinely stop you in your tracks. And by the time we get to number 7, you will never look at a simple, quiet moment with your baby the same way again. This isn't about guilt. This is about understanding, because once you know this, you can change it, and that changes everything. Number 1, babies are resilient. You've heard it 100 times, but here's where that phrase goes dangerously wrong. Babies are resilient when they have consistent emotional support. Without it, that resilience starts to fracture earlier than most people think. The first thing on this list is so common, so culturally accepted, that most parents genuinely don't see it as harmful. It's letting your baby cry without responding. Not coldly, not intentionally. I mean the kind of waiting that happens when you've read that it builds independence, or when you're running on 3 hours of sleep and think, they'll settle. But here's the part that changes things. To a baby's brain, waiting is not neutral. When a baby cries and no one comes, their stress hormone, cortisol, spikes fast. And in the first year of life, repeated cortisol spikes without a calming response from a caregiver actually alter the architecture of the developing brain. The regions responsible for emotional regulation, trust, and memory formation are directly affected. Dr. Allan Schore, one of the world's leading neuropsychologists, has spent decades studying exactly this. His research shows that when a baby cries and a parent responds consistently, the baby's nervous system learns. The world is safe. Help comes. I matter. But when that response is repeatedly absent, a different message gets wired in, and that message is much harder to undo later. Number 2, it's the tone of your voice when you're stressed. Picture it. You've had a brutal day. You pick up your baby and say something completely normal. Okay, I'm here. But your voice is tight, clipped. There's an edge underneath the words. What most parents don't realize is that babies are exquisitely attuned to vocal prosody, the rhythm, pitch, and emotional texture of your voice, from before they're even born. By 3 months old, a baby can distinguish between a calm voice and a stressed voice with startling accuracy, and their nervous system responds to exactly what it detects. Researchers at the University of Oregon found that infants as young as 6 months old showed measurable stress responses, elevated heart rate, cortisol spikes when they overheard adult arguments, even while they were asleep, not consciously aware, still reacting. So when you speak to your baby with tension in your voice, even while saying loving words, they don't hear the words, they feel the tone. And to them, a tense tone means one thing. The person I depend on for everything is not okay. And if they're not okay, I'm not safe. Number 3, forcing interaction. You know this moment well. You hold your baby up to a relative who loves babies. The person leans in too close, voice loud and high-pitched, and your baby turns away, looks down, starts to fuss. And the adult's response is almost always, "Oh, come on, look at me." Here's what's actually happening inside your baby. They're not being shy. They're not being difficult. They are communicating a boundary. Babies use gaze aversion, looking away, as a regulatory strategy. It's their way of saying, "This is too much right now. I need a break. I'm overwhelmed." When that signal is ignored and the interaction is pushed past the point where the baby already tried to opt out, it teaches them something that takes years to unlearn. Your boundaries don't matter. Your no will be overridden by the people who are supposed to protect you. Patterns matter. If your baby consistently tries to disengage and is consistently pushed back into engagement, that pattern gets stored, not as a memory they can recall, but as a felt sense, a body-level belief about how the world works. Number 4, and this is the one I mentioned at the top. Your baby is upset, really upset. Maybe they're crying because you took something out of their hands, and your response, completely naturally, completely instinctively, is, "You're okay. You're fine." Here's the science behind why that phrase is more complicated than it sounds. Babies don't have the neurological capacity to self-regulate their emotions. That ability, housed primarily in the prefrontal cortex, doesn't fully develop until the mid-20s. What babies have instead is co-regulation. They borrow your regulated nervous system to calm their own. You're not just being comforting, you're giving their nervous system a scaffold to come down from distress. But when you minimize what they're feeling, "You're fine, stop crying," the baby's emotional brain is activated and no co-regulation arrives. The distress has nowhere to go. Over time, repeated emotional dismissal teaches a child that their internal experience doesn't match what they're told about it. That gap between what they feel and what they're told to feel is one of the earliest seeds of emotional dysregulation, anxiety, and difficulty trusting themselves later in life. You don't have to fix their emotions, you just have to see them. That's the whole intervention. Number 5, and this isn't about screens being evil, it's about what your face means to your baby. In the landmark still face experiments, designed by Dr. Edward Tronick, researchers had mothers interact normally with their babies, then suddenly go completely blank and unresponsive. Within seconds, babies were visibly distressed. They used every social tool they had, smiling, pointing, vocalizing. When nothing worked, they collapsed inward. Some cried. Some showed physiological signs of acute stress. Now here's why this matters for your phone. When you're truly absorbed in scrolling, your face goes still. Your responsiveness drops. You become, neurologically speaking, a still-face parent. Your face is your baby's primary source of information about whether the world is safe. It's their emotional mirror, and when that mirror goes blank, even briefly, repeatedly throughout the day, it registers. If this is the first time anyone has walked you through what's actually happening inside your baby's emotional world, the science, the real consequences, the small shifts that change everything, this is exactly what this channel is built for. Subscribe to Baby Brain Signals. The next video goes even deeper. How your baby reads your emotions before you even know you're having them. You don't want to miss it. Number 6, over-stimulation. And this one is almost a cultural epidemic. We live in a world that treats stimulation as enrichment. Bright toys, baby gyms with flashing lights, sensory bins, baby music classes, and all of it comes from love, from wanting to give your baby every possible advantage. But here's what most parents don't realize. A newborn's nervous system can only process a tiny fraction of the sensory input adults take for granted. What feels like a slightly busy environment to you, TV on in the background, people talking, music playing, can feel catastrophically overwhelming to an immature nervous system. Signs of overstimulation are almost always misread. Babies who are overstimulated cry, arch their backs, go stiff, look away, or suddenly become glassy-eyed and zoned out. And the typical response? Try more rocking, more talking, which makes it worse. What an overstimulated baby actually needs is the exact opposite: dimness, quiet, stillness. Less, not more. Number 7. And I promised you this one would change how you see ordinary moments, not narrating your world together. One of the most significant discoveries in infant psychology over the last 2 decades is the power of what researchers call serve and return interactions. These are moments where a baby does something, makes a sound, points at something, looks at an object with curiosity, and the caregiver responds to it, acknowledges it, follows the baby's lead. Oh, you see that? That's the light, isn't it? This back and forth, even with a baby who can't respond in words, builds neural connections in the prefrontal cortex at a rate that simply doesn't happen without it. Language development, emotional intelligence, executive function, all of it built through these tiny, casual, constant moments of shared attention. When those moments are missed, when the baby points and no one looks, when the baby vocalizes and gets no response, when curiosity goes unacknowledged, the neural pathways that were ready to form simply don't. The Harvard Center on the Developing Child calls serve and return the single most important interaction in early development. Not toys, not classes, not educational videos. The back and forth, present moment, face-to-face responsiveness of a caregiver who notices what their baby notices. Number 8. Sneaking out without saying goodbye. You're leaving for work. Someone told you, sneak out. It avoids the crying. Here's what actually happens. The baby is playing, content, and then, without any warning, the person they are most neurologically anchored to, the person whose heartbeat they have known since before birth, is simply gone. No transition, no goodbye. Just absence where there was presence. To a baby's nervous system, this isn't just surprising, it's alarming. And the consequence isn't less crying, it's more anxiety. Because the baby has now learned something deeply unsettling. The people I love can disappear without warning, which means I can never fully relax. I have to stay vigilant. The research on this is consistent. Babies who experience predictable, visible transitions, even with crying at the goodbye, develop more secure attachment than babies whose caregivers regularly vanish without warning. The crying at a goodbye isn't distress building, it's distress releasing. There's a fundamental difference. Number 9, physical disconnect. Touch is not a luxury for babies. It is a biological necessity. When a baby is held, oxytocin, the bonding hormone, is released in both the baby and the caregiver. Heart rate stabilizes. Cortisol drops. The vagal nerve and the primary nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system activates, promoting a state of calm and safety. But here's what gets overlooked. It's not just about picking them up when they cry. It's about casual, incidental physical connection throughout the day. A hand on their back while they play, brushing their cheek as you pass, the warmth of having them close. These micro moments of touch are continuously communicating. You are safe. You are seen. You are not alone. Babies who experience chronically low physical contact, even in loving homes where they're fed and cared for, show measurably higher baseline cortisol. Their nervous systems are perpetually running a low-grade stress response, not because they're in danger, but because one of the primary signals of safety is chronically absent. Number 10, and I saved this one for last. Parental emotional unavailability, not neglect, not absence. The parent who is physically present, who feeds and changes and holds, but who is internally somewhere else, grieving, depressed, anxious, overwhelmed. Babies don't just need your body present, they need your emotional self present. Research on parental depression shows something both heartbreaking and clarifying. Babies of depressed mothers, even mothers who performed all the physical acts of caregiving, showed disrupted attachment patterns, elevated stress responses, and altered brain development in the regions responsible for emotion and stress regulation. This isn't to blame depressed parents, it's to highlight something profound. Your baby is not just receiving your actions, they are receiving your emotional state. And the most extraordinary gift you can give your baby, more than any toy, any class, any intervention, is working on your own nervous system, your own healing, your own regulation. Because a parent who pauses to take a breath, who gets support, who practices even the smallest acts of self-regulation, that parent changes something in the room, and the baby feels it. So here we are, 10 things. And I want you to notice how you feel right now. If you feel a little seen, maybe even a little tender about moments you recognize in yourself, that feeling matters. That's not guilt. That's attunement. That's the same quality that makes you a good parent. Your baby doesn't need a perfect parent. Donald Winnicott called it the good enough parent. Someone who messes up and repairs, who misses and then notices the miss, who doesn't always get it right, but is consistently trying to come back, to reconnect, to see. The moments of disconnection aren't what shape your baby. It's the repair that shapes them, the return, the I'm here now, I see you. That is the architecture of secure attachment, not perfection, return. So the next time your baby looks at you, really looks at you, that deep, unguarded, direct gaze that only babies can give, know this: they are not just looking at you, they are reading you, trusting you, wiring themselves around you, and you are enough. The fact that you're watching this, the fact that you want to understand, the fact that you care enough to ask, am I missing something? Am I hurting my baby without knowing it? That question, that willingness to look is not a small thing. It is everything. If this video gave you something, a new way of seeing, a moment of recognition, one small shift in how you'll respond next time, share it with another parent who needs to hear it. If no one has ever walked you through what's actually happening inside your baby's emotional world, the science behind it, the real consequences, the small shifts that change everything, this is exactly what this channel is built for. Because the next video goes even deeper into how your baby reads your emotions before you even know you're having them. You don't want to miss it. Because the most powerful thing we can do for the next generation isn't a curriculum or a program. It's simply this: understanding what's actually happening inside the smallest people in our lives and choosing to respond to it with presence. I'll see you in the next one.